Hi everyone, it's Katrina. Number 10. Dinosaur eggs. Paleontologists in India have uncovered a staggering number of dinosaur egg fossils. Between 2017 and 2020, researchers identified 92 dinosaur nesting sites. From those 92 sites, 256 eggs were recovered. Researchers from the University of Delhi identified the sites in 5 rural villages. The nesting sites belong to prehistoric sauropods. These were some of the biggest herbivores that ever walked the earth, like the legendary Brontosaurus. The eggs were studied either in clutches, gathered in a nest, or broken and scattered around the site. It's been a major boon for paleontologists for one main reason. Up until now, very little was known about how sauropods nested. With these new egg fossils, the experts will be able to learn so much about the reproductive biology of large herbivores. It's believed the eggs belong to titanosaurs, of which there are about 40 different species. The first thing researchers noticed was how similar the sauropod eggs are to bird eggs. And yet at the same time, the nesting pattern is more similar to crocodile nesting patterns. It looks like the eggs were partially buried in shallow pits, just like what modern crocodilians do. Then they were incubated with the sun and heat from the ground. Titanosaurs didn't have to sit on their eggs, but the physical layers of their eggs are very close to modern birds. It's another great example of how dinosaurs really were like hybrid reptile birds. Number 9. The Witchcraft Den. Carrie Jackson and her husband Bledin were renovating their home in Wales when they found something unbelievably disturbing. Their farmhouse in the North Welsh countryside was built in the 16th century. It's been standing for 500 years. When Carrie and Bledin started to remodel, they came across a hidden witchcraft den underneath the staircase. This discovery sounds like the start of a horror movie, only this is fact, not fiction. Underneath the staircase, the couple discovered animal skulls, creepy bottles, random shoes, and some poison. The house has been in Bledin's family for centuries, but he had never known about the mystery beneath the stairs. He accidentally made a hole in the wall and realized there was a hollow on the other side. The secret room had been sealed during the late medieval period, thereby cutting off different parts of the house that had previously been linked. Inside the dusty den were 8 left shoes, a horse skull and pieces from a gun barrel, old receipts, a bottle full of poison, some perfume, and all to supposedly ward away evil. This was a common thing to do in medieval Britain. Special objects would be stashed to keep away the spirits. Witches were believed to have an attraction to shoes, so keeping a lot of them was a good way to trap a witch if she showed up with ill intent. Now you know. Carrie doesn't know what went on in the house 500 years ago, but whoever lived there must have thought they were in a battle against the forces of evil. Maybe they had even been trying to catch a witch by luring one into their house with a bunch of left shoes. Would you stay in your house if you found something like this? Let me know in the comments. Number 8. A new Maya city. An entirely new Mayan city has just been found in the Mexican jungle. In early summer 2023, archaeologists with the National Institute of Anthropology and History were poking through an untraveled stretch of the Balamku Ecological Reserve on the Yucatan Peninsula. This is a place people simply don't visit. As archaeologists picked through the forest, they came across stone columns and the large remains of what appeared to be pyramids. Upon further inspection, it became obvious they were standing in an abandoned city. They've named it Okomtun, and you're not about to find it on any tourist maps. The investigation is preliminary so far. This discovery is unfolding right now, so there isn't much information. Team leader Ivan Spraj has said the site likely served as an important center between 250 and 1000 AD, but nobody knows when it was abandoned, who the ruler was, or anything like that. All archaeologists have right now are rotting stone columns and fractured buildings. They also found some altars that appear to have been used for community rituals. The city is located on a plateau of high ground. The main bulk of the city covers about 123 acres. Sweeping down in all directions from the plateau are the extensive swamplands. It has at least a few pyramids, one of which is over 49 feet tall. And now for number 7. But first, it's shoutout time! I want to give a big thank you to Howard LaPierre and Billy Evans for supporting this channel. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already for more videos about amazing discoveries. Number 7. Prehistoric spear throwers. Archaeologists investigating sites in France have been unearthing strange ring-shaped artifacts. A lot of them have been picked up over the years, each bizarre relic dating between 50,000 and 12,000 years old. The main hypothesis has been that the rings were attached to clothing as some kind of ornament. But now, Justin Garnett from the University of Kansas thinks he's figured it out. He says the rings were used by prehistoric spear throwers as a special grip. They were attached to ancient weapons to be more accurate. Justin noted how the rings look like the same finger loops used by spear throwers in North and South America. Even though the artifacts were found in France, long before humans arrived in the Americas, it's possible that Europeans developed the technology first. The artifacts were typically made from animal antlers. They are small enough just so that a human finger can fit snugly inside of one. A total of 12 have been found so far throughout prehistoric sites in France. They were likely used by the Magdalenian culture between 19,000 and 12,000 years ago, but maybe also the older Badagulian culture before that. Justin explained that a prehistoric hunter would stick his finger through the ring to ensure a firmer hold on the weapon. It was a simple invention that would have offered more control and power while throwing the spear at the target, either in a hunting situation or in a fight to the death. Justin even tested his hypothesis using a 3D printed replica. Unsurprisingly, Justin's test was a big success. The looped artifact really did add strength to his spear throws and made it easier to wield the weapon. Have you ever thrown a spear? Number 6. Quoting Virgil. 1,800 years ago, a quote from the legendary Virgil was carved into a Roman jar for holding olive oil. The jar was produced in the south of Spain, then lost for thousands of years. It was found by researchers from local universities as they excavated the town of Hornachuelos. The ceramic vessel was of the highest quality, still in amazing shape after so many centuries. At first, archaeologists were a little puzzled by the inscription on the side. When they realized it was a quote from an ancient poet, they were delighted. Researchers believe this could be the first literary quotation ever found scrawled on an ancient Roman amphora. Archaeologist Ivan González Tovar says in most cases, a Roman jar will only have 1 or 2 lines of text. Normally, it's information about the producer of whatever was in the jar. It could be the quantity or the amount of taxes that needed to be paid on it. But this time, there were a lot of words, lines of Latin text quoting Virgil. He's best known for the epic poem Aeneid in the 1st century BC. But he was also Dante's guide through hell in his own epic The Inferno, written 1,300 years later. When researchers first tried to translate the Latin, they had some difficulties. Whoever made the inscription had left a lot of spelling mistakes, which hampered the researchers from understanding the text. The quote turned out to be from the first section of Virgil's famous work, Georgics. It reads something like this: Earth once changed the Canoian acorn for the plump wheat ear, and mingled with the grape your newfound gift. It's only a small piece of text, and researchers aren't sure why it's there at all. They think it may have been a child practicing their writing, or it could have just been an adult doodling lines of their favorite poem on a jar of olive oil. Number 5. Curly hair and big brains. Scientists have just discovered something very interesting about the initial brain growth of our early ancestors. At Pennsylvania State University, researchers wanted to know why human beings have almost no hair on their body, but a lot of hair on their scalps. Nina Jablonski, an anthropologist at Penn State, explained that humans evolved in Africa where the sun is often high in the sky. This likely encouraged early humans to keep the hair on their heads to protect themselves from the sun. But they wanted to know the specifics. They put different wigs of hair onto a mannequin and then shine heat lamps on it to record the differences. It turns out that curly hair is better at protecting the human brain from sun radiation and heat. Curly hair also helps minimize the need to sweat, thereby avoiding dehydration. So what does all this have to do with the growing brain? Scientists say human hair turned curly to protect us from the sun and allow us to stay cool without expending extra resources. This gave Homo erectus the evolutionary advantage 2 million years ago to begin evolving a larger brain. The Homo erectus never benefited from a big brain, but its descendants, Homo sapiens, definitely did. Scientists now believe curly hair may have been directly responsible for the rapid development of the human brain. Number 4. Too many Rexes. Scientists have finally calculated how many Tyrannosaurus rex roamed the planet before the dinosaurs went extinct. New research has revealed that there were 1.7 billion T-Rex living in the world. The hot debate over how many T-Rex lived started in 2021, when a study was published in the journal Science. The team estimated that 2.5 billion T-Rexes lived between 68 and 65.5 million years ago. But a new study in 2023, published in the journal Paleontology, argues there were only 1.7 billion. Eva Griebeler says she factored in new information that resulted in a reduced number. Both teams took into account variables such as population density, geographic range, number of eggs laid, survival rates, the list goes on. The 2021 results showed that about 20,000 T-Rexes could be alive at any one time. Over 125,000 generations, the number of total Tyrannosaurus rex who ever lived is 2.5 billion. But Eva says the original team overestimated survival rates. The discrepancy isn't very big. It's not even the real issue. The problem, regardless of the number, is that scientists can't figure out where all the T-Rex bones are. Even rounding out the number 2 billion, it means that humans have only found roughly 0.0000002% of T-Rex remains. I think I said all the right zeros. Surely there are more fossils out there, but why haven't scientists found them? Do you have any theories about these missing T-Rex fossils? Let me know in the comments and hit subscribe while you're at it. Number 3. One very old skeleton. At an excavation near Krakow, Poland, archaeologists discovered a very old skeleton. The skeleton, lying in the fetal position and looking strangely at peace, is 7,000 years old. The bones are perfectly preserved, so immaculate experts are shocked. They were digging as part of a project to revitalize the market square. Experts thought maybe some old city walls would turn up, not a human body. Although it's more bone than body, the corpse is still very exciting. The skeleton's age is another big factor. 7,000 years ago was when the first farmers in Poland arrived from Asia Minor. This dead person may have been one of the first humans to sow the land here. He was buried in the fetal position because that was part of whatever religion the ancient people practiced. He was made to look like an embryo, like a baby resting in the womb. This must have had something to do with a belief in the cycle of rebirth. There's not much else known about the dead guy. His skeleton is totally random, found with a few scraps of pottery, but nothing else. There are surely other prehistoric remains, but they are all hidden underneath Krakow's modern streets. Number 2. The Shining Sword. In the small Bavarian town of Nordlingen, archaeologists uncovered a sword from the Bronze Age. The weapon is 3,000 years old, and so perfectly preserved, it's still shining. Researchers were excavating a burial site when the sword was revealed in the dirt, like a lost holy treasure. It's crafted from bronze and has a beautiful octagonal hilt. The whole thing is covered in a greenish patina because the copper oxidized over time. But even with the rust, the sword looks new enough to use right now. The sword was crafted by an extremely skilled blacksmith. The technique, the overlay casting, the blade, everything points to a master creator behind the forging of the weapon. It would have been a truly lethal object in the 14th century BC when it was new. It's unclear who owned it. Nobody knows what it was doing in the grave. Archaeologists don't even know who the 3 random people in the grave were, or if they were related. Do you think this was the sword of a great champion? Did it see blood and battle, or was it only a treasure for symbolic purposes? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Number 1. Lucy's legs. Lucy lived 3.2 million years ago. She is the best example of a preserved Australopithecus ever found. In the 1970s, 40% of her total skeleton was uncovered in Ethiopia. She was one of humanity's earliest ancestors. As such an important piece of human history, Lucy has been studied a lot. Her bones show that she was 3.4 feet tall. She weighed anywhere between 29 and 93 pounds. She also suggested to the world that human ancestors walked upright long before they developed big brains. New 3D modeling has revealed that Australopithecus afarensis did indeed walk upright just like a human being. Scientists already had a hunch, but now they know it for sure. Lucy did not crouch or waddle like a chimpanzee. She walked upright with a firm back, the same as humans do today. Scientists were able to reconstruct the pelvis and leg muscles of Lucy to get a better understanding of her biology. Lucy's muscles indicate she could climb trees and walk like a 3-foot-tall person. Ashley Wiseman, the one behind the study at Cambridge's MacDonald Institute for Archaeological Research, says Lucy was perfectly adapted to her habitat. By recreating the muscles in Lucy's legs, Wiseman was able to see that Lucy had the ability to straighten her knee joints. This means she walked straight and upright. She was also muscular enough that swinging around in the trees would have been very easy. She had about twice as many muscles in her legs as the average human today, despite being nearly half as tall. Thanks for watching! How would you like to be half as tall but twice as muscular? Let me know in the comments. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and come back soon for more shocking videos on ancient history. Bye!